right, starting video recording. Hang on for your intro.
Tuned in to the Drawing Board Podcast, a powerful, thought-provoking discussion where we talk about family, relationships, ministry, community, and career. Let's see what exciting guests we have on our show today. So again, the exciting guest we have on our show tonight is, I call her affectionately Sweet, and she calls me
Honey.
Right. So we have Sweet Honey coming to you via the Drawing Board Podcast. Tonight it's really light. We want to address some things about love and relationships and marriage and commitment and trust and honesty and companionship and longevity and just give you all an opportunity to kick it with the Ebrons. That could be a show, Kicking It with the Ebrons. No, but just kind of talking about some of the things that are important to us when it comes to marriage. Now, Shalise, we will be married this May, 15 years.
The big one.
The big 1-5. And so super excited about us, reaching that kind of mile marker. But I'm excited about all of the life that we have left to live and to, engage in adventure and all of the corny jokes that I plan to tell between now and then.
Oh, my.
And all of the singing, from the shower or in the car. Or what about do you remember when we used to travel from school and I used to always get into my poetic space?
Yes.
Yes. And I would give you these impromptu poems.
Yes.
Off the dome. And I'd be like, yeah, baby, how'd you like that one? Snaps. Right?
All the time.
So, yeah, what do you think in 2019? We've been married 15 years. What is the most important factor of marriage and relationship in 2019, especially with so many different cultural shifts?
Well, for us, I think that it is just time. Like, time is a huge factor. Like, we're busy. We have a lot of things in the works right now, just as far as our company and with our children, and I feel like time is a huge thing. Like that's the thing that's so hard to get and to have, and it's the thing that we want the most. We're like, dang, wonder can we steal an hour here? Can we steal an hour there? Literally, when you leave the podcast, sometimes we're going to the movies in the middle of the night, and we're so sleepy, but we just insist on we're going to have this date night tonight. So time is a really big thing, making sure that we schedule time for each other weekly, daily, by the moment, by the minute.
Absolutely. So when we talk about that time, I try to do little things, whether it's complimenting you in the morning or we were at church the other day. Service was over, just to be clear. Okay, service was over, and we were in the fellowship hall, and I was trying to give you the eye. And you were like, wait a minute. You couldn't even feel that I was giving you the eye because you were trying to see. You said, oh, babe, you got something on your face.
Yeah,
and you were
did.
so concerned about.
You did.
Yeah, so I said, girl, I'm trying to give you the eye.
I knew you were.
And but just being able to, I think, in those moments, because especially when life is intense and it's a lot of different things happening, for us, one of the things, like in the midst of like working on our marriage and perfecting our love, we have children that are growing up, and then we have parents that are aging, and then we have grandparents that are still, thank God, they are still with us, or some have recently made their transition. But like so many things competing for our time and attention. What are some small things that you think, or that we do, other than falling asleep in the movie theater holding hands because we're exhausted? That gives us kind of that just indication, hey, that you're still a huge priority as far as our marriage being a huge priority.
Well, I think that people can definitely use like social media in a positive way, like giving their spouse
WCW all the time.
Give their spouse shout outs and things like that. But, there are some people who like things more private and like more personal things as well. So just a quick text message or a snack in the car. I do that for you sometimes. Like
Absolutely.
you get in the car, you got your favorite snack in there.
Right.
Things like that is doesn't take a lot of time and is not so, over the top where everybody can see it, but something that just means something to you and your spouse. Things like that, photos, a funny joke, like we'll text jokes or stuff that's funny, things we see on social media that we won't like repost, but we'll laugh at it amongst ourselves.
We'll laugh at absolutely. Yeah.
So, things like that. It's always nice to have something that is just personal between you, exclusive between you and your spouse. So anything like that is always, something good to share, and that will definitely add to your relationship.
Yeah, I agree. And there's somebody probably watching, and you may be in a different season in your relationship. I saw somebody post the other day that they were learning how to fall back in love with their mate or their spouse just because they had experienced some challenges or different things that come up. And we've been there. And
Exactly.
especially when we had kids that were 18 months apart. So, one was sleeping, one was up, one was in diapers, one was in pull-ups, one was what we call the boo-boo blowout. They have a big mess, and then we're on our way out the door to go to church, and one of the kids have made a mess or spilled juice all over there. Mm-hmm. And you are not really frustrated with the other spouse, with your spouse, but you are definitely frustrated with the situation. But who ends up receiving that frustration?
Your spouse.
Your spouse. And so,
ready, aim, fire.
I'm telling you, listen, shots fired, hands up, don't shoot, and all of these things. What we both communicate very differently.
We do.
We communicate very differently because, and I'll say this, I think being raised by my mother caused me to, the talking gene is just there. It is. And I had to learn that just because I'm talking, it doesn't mean that I'm communicating.
It doesn't.
Right. Okay, I don't need you. You felt all that conviction come through the podcast. Did you feel the conviction come through? And just because you're silent in the moment, it doesn't mean that you aren't listening or reflecting or processing. Mm-hmm. And for a talker like me, sometimes, and I'm matured, I have my moments, mm-hmm. but the silence on one end may seem like, wait a minute, are you being attentive to what's being expressed here? Right, but giving you the time to process so that you can respond and it's not just rabbit shots being fired back and forth.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And I think for those that are listening, we had to learn how to communicate and how to express ourselves. Mm-hmm. So here's a question for you. Here's the question.
Okay.
All right, here's the question. So when we were dating, mm-hmm. and we would see each other on a weekly basis.
Sometimes
daily. I would have a gift mm-hmm. every time I saw you.
This is true.
And I was a broke college student, okay?
I'm
talking about like broker than broke college student trying to just get through these 4 years. But I always share, even when we talk to our daughter, like that when a man wants to be with that woman, he will do whatever is necessary to let her know that she is special. So here it goes. How have I let you know that you're special, babe? No, that's not the real question.
Oh,
but here's the real question. The real question is, like, when it comes to engaging into a dating relationship, what were some of the criteria that you had set for?
Definitely someone. Well, listen. Do you want me to talk about my list?
Talk about the list, because I was on. I didn't know I was being graded, but now that I got a chance to see the list, it was about 59. No, it wasn't 59 things.
Not.
But it was about 25 to 30 things on this list. Okay, Shalise, let's talk about the list.
Yes. So I had things on the list like must have a sense of humor. No one wants to be with someone who is dry and boring. Like,
wait a minute. Check.
I had things like be able to dance.
Oh, wait a minute. You see me Facebook. You see me Facebook.
And that's like something sick, but it was something that was important to me. Like, you want to be able to, when you're ready to get on the dance floor, you have that. Even though now he goes over the top, but I'm not even gonna go there.
It's not over the top. I just get excited when I'm dancing with you.
Right.
That's what it is.
Right.
I can't contain myself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. And another thing that was on on the list was definitely that I wanted someone who had the same faith as I did, and that loved God, and that wanted to serve Him, and that I would be equally yoked with. So that was important, and that was on my list.
Can we pause it before in the midst of that list?
Yes.
Like when you talk about loving God, because
Yes.
we enjoy our faith.
Yes.
Like faith for us was not a list of can't do's. Like there is so much liberty and freedom within our faith to enjoy our marriage. Like God created marriage.
For sure.
And so that's another thing that we'll talk about in a minute. But like we enjoyed our faith. We prayed together. Listen, this is when we had to call. I didn't have a cell phone, so I had to call her on my school phone. And they were charging me 10 cents per minute.
We had $200 phone bills.
$200 phone bills every time we came up. But we did not let the evening close out if we did not pray with each other.
This is true.
And if you were at the computer lab at 1:30 because you like to procrastinate to write all your papers,
You were
shots
there
fired,
too.
shots fired.
Fire those
Yeah,
shots because you were
fired.
there too.
Yeah.
Even though it took you 2.2 seconds to get your paper done.
Right.
Whatever.
I didn't really study like that. I just,
Whatever.
but anyway,
Dancing Andre.
we would, who put down Dancing
You
Andre?
already know who did that.
Oh,
Jim.
Lord, that's my cousin Jeremy.
Dancing
But
Andre, show
we,
us some moves.
we would always. All right, hey, Jay. All right, man. I got this mic. No, I'm joking. But listen, we would always take time to pray. And we would pray for each other, and we would ask each other, like, what can I pray for you about? Or because we were thinking about each other, the Holy Spirit would give us certain things to encourage each other, to hold on, to fight on. And we'll talk about that in a minute. How important is a marriage to encouraging your dream? But that's another question. Let's get back to this list. Oh, before that, Ludacris. I like to shout out Melissa Ludacris at this time. She wants a shout out. Let me see, Nani. Oh, what's going on, Nani? I see you. Much love to you. Nani is an awesome artist. She has, listen, Nani, I have to have you on the show so we can showcase your talent, your artistry.
Jackie on here too.
Oh, Jackie. Oh, listen, my cousin and my cousin in love. They call themselves Double J. JJ. Jackie
Team
and
JJ.
Jeremy. Team JJ. They are in the house. All right, so Shalisa, let's get back to this exhaustive list that you gave and put before the Lord.
Oh, let's see. What else was on there? I also put on there, I have to remember some of the things.
I remember one thing I didn't have.
What was that, money?
Oh, wow. Yes. I did not have money. That's not what I was talking about. But yes, no, I did not have any money at that time.
Established? Did I
Yeah.
say must be
No, I didn't have that either. So I wasn't established. I didn't have any money. And I
gotta
didn't have
pass
any
on some stuff.
transportation at the
Oh,
time.
yes, that's what it was.
And so you're like, what? She dated you and you were broke and you were not. I
We
was
were
in college.
in college, though. I was
No,
in college
but there
too.
are some college students right now who are walking around with all types of things. Money procured all types of ways.
Yes.
But, we were focused, head to the ground, set of morals and things that would only allow me to, legitimately
Right.
obtain finances.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, all that being said, you took the risk anyway.
I did, because you were so, driven and excited about life, and, I bought in. Everything you told me, I'm like, yes, that is going to happen. Yes, that is going to come to pass. And you had already proven, with what you were doing already, coming to see me, like I said, always having a gift or just always doing something, wanting to do nice things for me, no matter what it was. We had our things that we did when we had money, and we had things that we did when we didn't have money. But it was always something. It was never a dull moment. And if it wasn't a gift or something, it was a poem or it was something like that. So you let me know from the beginning, hey, I love you, and I'm going to go to the ends of the earth to do whatever I need to do to take care of you and make sure you have everything that you need. So that was never, a question or, wonder will, this work out or that work out. Not really, because I had no doubt, he's going to make it happen some kind of way. So I'm not worried about it.
Absolutely. I mean, when you love somebody, I saw a post the other day. It says, when you give to somebody and you are struggling, that is not. Let me see how they put it. They said that is not. I forget how they said it, but essentially what it ended in, they said that when you give to someone else when you're struggling, that's an indication of love.
Oh, okay.
And so love sacrifices. We know all of these different things about what love does. And it is not something that you just believe. It is something that you do. Love is an action. One of the things that I promised you when I got my vehicle, and it was only a couple months in until I had gotten my vehicle. And so I said, when I get my vehicle, because I'm really big on reciprocation. I'm huge on reciprocation. Like, reciprocation for me is like breath. It's like air that you breathe. Because I had been in so many different relationships where I was the only one giving. I was giving, but it wasn't anything reciprocal. So then when I met you, like, you are a giver just like me. And so we would get into like giving wars, like who can outgive the other one. Not just tangible things or monetary things or materialistic things, but it would be like, I'm going to get my text through first, or I'm going to pray for you in such a way, or I'm hearing from God regarding you. And all of that wisdom that we would share with each other caused our relationship to grow. And what I loved most is in our relationship, we accepted each other's families.
Oh, for sure.
And like
to this
day. And we
never
were,
had that family beef.
We never did.
Mother-in-law, father. We never had that kind of beef. Like, oh, I don't like. It was never a competition. But I think that most definitely our moms made sure that it wasn't like that. They never put us in any positions. They were like, listen, what you all are going to do, you can call me and try to ask for advice to talk about the other person if you want to, but at the end of the day, you need to figure it out,
Absolutely.
They didn't play that.
And they did not get in the business.
They did not. They did not care. They did not choose sides. They don't care what happened, who did it, what for whose fault it is, but they're not going to take sides. But they still had our backs. But they had both of our backs at the same time. I don't know how they did that, but
I don't either. Because I could literally go sit down with Mama Baker, your mother, and we could sit there and kick it about different challenges that we may have been having, and we would sit there, and at the end, she would either get on my case or she would share like, oh no, no, she can't do that. And would just teach each other. What I felt they helped us do was teach us how to better love one another. And I couldn't say that without saying that we are submitted to the same authority as it relates to our faith. Ever since we have been dating, we've been submitted under the same ministry, so we're getting the same spiritual food. We have very, like, you have an eclectic vibe and taste in certain music that I'm just like, yo, I cannot get with this. Are we listening to country right? What is going on here? I like certain country, but like we had support. And then even our friends, the ones who like were in our corner all the time, our close friends, because let me tell you something, getting married, it will bring everybody out of the woodworks. So for those of you who are recently engaged or you're close up on your wedding date and you're like, oh my goodness, where did this come from? This seems like a curveball. I've been cool with this person since we were in diapers, and all of a sudden the hate shows up. You have to realize a lot of times it's not about you, the person. It is about other people having those strong desires to be in those committed relationships. And when they see it play out in your life, they don't know how to be happy in those moments for you because it's really territory that they also wish that they were in. Yeah, so
that's why it's definitely important, like, who you kind of find out in those moments who your true friends are, and who is really for you and for your happiness above all things. Because Andre can attest to, my best friend is totally like this. Like, she's not going to take sides.
Oh, let's talk about the alarm clock.
She's not going to do anything. One early in our marriage, before we had kids or anything, I got mad at Andre, and I left. I'm going to go to my best friend's house. I got my alarm clock so I could wake up for work the next day. I'm out of here. I got one outfit and my alarm clock. And she opened up the door. She let me come in and everything. We just sitting there. So she's like, well, what did he do? And I'm telling her, and he did this, and I'm so mad. And at the end of the conversation, she said, did he beat you up? Anything like that? No. All the questions she asked me, I said no to. She said, then get your alarm clock and go back home. You're not staying over here. You're going back home. You're going to figure it out. Goodbye.
Shout out to Storm.
Put me out with my alarm clock.
Get out.
But you need people like that. You don't need the person that's going to welcome you in and be like, girl, we about to go out to such and such a place, or we're about to do this. You need that person that's going to give you solid counsel in your best interest. Like, hey, now, I know that you mad at him right now, but listen, it's not that serious. Shake it off. Go back home. Y'all work it out. That's the kind of friends you need in your corner. So evaluate your list of friends. Like, who is going to open up that door and be like, girl, I'm about to call so-and-so over here too because we about to turn up and have a party. Like, no. Your relationship is much more important than hanging out with your friends. And you should have friends in your corner that agree and believe that as well.
Absolutely. And my cousin Jeremy and my cousin Tarek and my cousin Greg, everybody, they have varied advice. But I do know that, number one, that they love me. That's important. So when it came to me expressing how I felt about something, I had to, have a safe place to land. I can't express how I feel, whether I'm hurt, to somebody who doesn't love me.
Right.
Because when you see things falling apart, and this is to somebody that's listening, when people see your relationship having some troubles and they are also unhappy or they feel miserable, misery loves company.
For sure.
So there are two groups of people who believe, marriage doesn't work. Everybody's going to have a challenge. And, I know the statistics say right now over 50% of marriages end in divorce. But I used to be, and I still am so bold to say, but not my house. It can happen to everybody else in the world, but not my house. Because you have to be vested enough to do the work. When people describe marriage, Shalise, they always talk about how arduous it is, how challenging it is, how much work it is. Yes, that is true. But if that is your perspective, you're going to have all of those things. Like, we have tons of fun. You and I will bust out in a dance battle at the house,
We will.
and just randomly, if the song is on. Jokes, cracking jokes on one another.
Yes, practical jokes around ice fights or, someone's... You tried to bring that back. I'm not. I can't do the cold water.
Okay, so here's this is love and relationship in the context of marriage. Okay, all right. So what we used to do a long time ago. Say you're in the midst of your shower and you're taking this nice warm shower. We would fill up a bucket of cold water, and while the other person is showering, throw the cold water on each other.
So rude.
Yeah, it is rude, but it
was fun.
absolutely
It was funny.
Hilarious, right? And and we would, hide. I tell Shalisa, please don't try to hide and pop out of no secret place, because I am Jeanette Ebron's son. And if you don't know who Jeanette Ebron is, that is my mother, and she is a military-minded person. Was raised by her. She's a Marine, and so she used to walk me through the house. There was a weapon in every room of the house, okay?
Gosh.
In every room of the house, you are less than 5 feet away from the next weapon, okay? So that is just how we were raised. It was a single-parent household. My mom raised me by herself, so she did what she had to do to make sure that we were safe, all right? And she would say, don't you pop out on me, because, you may not come back from whatever's going on. Or she'll say, when you walk in my house or in my room, you better announce yourself. These are some of the things we grew up on. And Shalise, we were in college, and you had a key to my apartment, and you decided to go in and hide in the closet. And I was getting ready, and I saw a person ducked off in the corner of the closet, but I couldn't make out who it was. And so what I did was I just continued to act like I didn't see that this person was in my closet, and then I shoved all of the clothes from the right side of the closet to the left, and I got ready to handle business. She said, wait, it's me. And I said, girl, don't ever scare me like that again. I was like, when I go into that mode, nothing. Listen, one of us not walking up out of here, and I'm definitely leaving. So you have to know your partner's idiosyncrasies like that. Even to this day. Shalise, do you remember when the kids hid under the rack at Kmart?
Oh my gosh, it was just one of them. I think it was Christian.
No,
we had Andre.
no, we didn't have Andre. Both of them hid under there because I walked them back in the department store to use the bathroom or something like that.
No,
Remember?
it was just Christian.
It was just Christian?
Yes, we had Andre. We had just got finished taking pictures.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we were taking pictures. Like, if you haven't gotten your J.C. Penney's picture, you know, from back in the day, or you know, if you went to, if you were in Fort Wayne, they used to have pictures at Value City. You could go to Value City and get your pictures. Now we had Olin Mills pictures too, but you know, when you're trying to get that quick little package, they had a nice turnaround time. So yeah, and at this time, I think we were at Kmart when Kmart used to have photography. So yeah, and then Christian was hiding
under the rack, quiet as a church mouse.
Listen.
And Andre was going, like, he walked around looking for her for a minute. When he could not find her, he shut the whole store down, went to the to the front and told them, lock the doors. Don't let anybody in. Don't let anybody out. I was like, oh.
This happened. But yes, it did. I am a protector by nature.
Yes.
And everybody in the store became a suspect until
they did.
My daughter showed up. And I was,
hiding.
listen, you know how it is, parents, especially, and I have a team member. My wife, she got my back. She is, you know, 100. She was looking around too. I said, stand right here. And I'm walking around the store. I done bust through all the bathrooms, men's bathrooms, women's bathrooms.
All of them.
All around. I done told the manager he better not open the door. People trying to leave. Nobody leaving until I find my daughter. And she came from up under the rack. From hiding under that. And
she didn't come from up. We just parted. We were parting all the racks looking for her, and she was sitting there quiet. I'm like, girl.
Right. And so I couldn't even speak because I was in destroy you mode. So I saw her, and I was happy that, you know, she was safe. But, you know, listen, as you all, you know, the colloquialism, talk about ride or die. Yeah, my wife, we will, you know, hey, listen, whether we are praising the Lord together or if we have to ride out on you. No, I'm joking. We're not going to ride out on you.
No, we're not going to ride out. Maybe.
I don't. Well, listen, that's to be determined. But at the end of the day, Shalise, we have tons of fun together. Surprising each other, being there to wipe each other's tears, being there to express our care. And like I grew up in a household where there was a lot of talking. And in your household, was
doing. There was more doing.
More doing?
And doing and spending time together and activities. Like we were less like, oh, I love you, da da da. Like that was occasionally. It was more like, come on, let's go do this. Or I did this for you. I know you like these. I made your favorite such and such. I did this. So, your house that you guys did a lot of
very affectionate.
Yes,
yes. A lot of communication.
Yes, we were not like that.
Right, right. Before you left the house, it was, I love you. You know, when you come home, I love you.
Yes.
It was just a lot of communicating. As far as verbal communication. So interestingly enough, the way that I enjoy receiving love is I enjoy that affirmation. I enjoy that love, that hearing you say, I love you. Being able to, when you used to make my lunch and you put a little note in there or you give me a treat or a snack or something like that and you have a little note attached to it. That was huge. So listen, on air, I have to tell you all about this binder. I still have it to this day.
Oh my goodness.
I do. I have this binder that Shalisa made for me while we were in college. And I was preparing to go to law school and I was studying for the LSAT. And if anybody has done that, study for the LSAT, you know, it is really kind of all consuming, especially if you want to do well. So I was studying for the LSAT. I was finishing up senior year and she made this binder for me with all of these type of affirmations and quotes because that's right up my alley. You know, if you've been following me, the Drawing Board Nation, I love affirmations, love quotes. They inspire me. They motivate me. They encourage me because I'm going to do it anyway.
Yes.
Like I'm going to do it anyway. If I make up my mind that this is what I'm going to do, this is the goal that I have set, I'm willing to sacrifice whatever it takes in order to reach that goal or that dream. But you made that binder for me, And I had never had that done before. And I was like, you had it laminated? Not to mention you were an education major. So, yeah.
Right up my alley.
Yeah, right. But I didn't ask for that.
Right.
That was something you did on your own accord. And I still have that binder to this day. As a matter of fact, I was carrying it around the other day.
I saw it on the couch. I was like, why is this out?
Yeah, I was reading through it. Hey, it's a fluid document. Now what she did say, Facebook, Podcast Detroit, people listening in, she said she was going to continue to add to it over the years.
I did.
And, excuse me.
But there are things that I have created that could go in there. For example, all of your countdowns and different things, all of that can be considered things that could go in your binder.
Oh, that's great damage control. Great damage control.
I'm just saying, I didn't put it in the binder.
Oh, she's off the ropes.
I have added, lots of affirmations and things. I put stuff out there.
No, absolutely you do. My business wouldn't be in the shape that it's in and growing without your help. I would have not been able to publish my book without your help. That was a lot of work. I would not be able to have the freedoms and liberties to go to some of the conferences and things that I've been able to go to while you are at home, helping making sure the children have what they need, and vice versa. When you're in school and I'm seeing to the kids, and
when I had to go out of town for work and stuff.
Yeah, when you go out of town, so all of those things are important. And let's talk about that for a minute. We have a couple more minutes tonight. Let's talk about the give and take of the relationship, because one of the most transforming thoughts for me, because I was a cut them off in a minute type person.
Yes.
Like, I had no problem with that. My cutoff game was real strong. If I was working on a goal or something and somebody came in and spoke some type of doubt or like, oh, you may not be able to do this. Oh, cut off,
Yes.
Or somebody come in, well, why are you doing that? Nobody else has, been able to do that. Oh, you speaking impossibility in my life? Oh, cut off,
yes.
Oh, wait a minute. Did you just, mistreat me, or you don't see me as you should the right way? Like, this is your perspective of me? Oh, cut off. I think I have a pair of scissors that just said cut off because it was quick.
Yes, it was.
And I had to grow in patience and grow in love and realize that sometimes people expressing these thoughts was out while their motive was very genuine and sincere. They were sincerely wrong.
Oh, Lord.
All right? They were. But the point that I'm making is when the transforming thought I had is when I realized that we were one. And this took some time, even after the I do's, into the marriage. I understood, leave and cleave, and all of those good things. But when two systems are becoming one, there's some friction there.
For sure.
And so then when I realized that, your success is my success and my success is your success, it is so much easier to support somebody when you see it as yourself. What do you think?
For sure. I think that is definitely like the hardest thing to come about, like to not separate things out. Like, oh, I did this, oh, you did this, and to flip the perspective from I and me to us and we.
Oh, that's good. Somebody needs to put that in the comments. To flip it from I and me to us and we. Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna write a poem about that. No, I'm joking.
So, that is definitely something that's the hard part of the relationship. But once you get that mastered, like everything that I do affects my spouse, and everything my spouse does affects me, good, bad, or otherwise. Like, we're in this together. Your success is my success, so forth and so on. Once you get that figured out, everything else is easy. Like, that's why I feel like a little bit like year 15, we're just feeling like the ease of things, like where it's like, ooh, I don't have to wonder about this. I don't have to think about that. I don't have to consider myself because my spouse is going to consider me, those kinds of things. So once you get to that part, like that's when you feel a little bit of the ease, and it took us this long to get here. So
it did. And there were some very exciting and great moments. There were some very challenging and rough moments and rough patches, but the one thing that we were committed to doing, even amidst all that, was being with and for one another. So if your husband or your significant other cannot be upset with you, sit on the couch, look at you still mad, and say, "What you want to eat?" I mean, be mad as I don't know what. Be okay. What you want to eat? You want your favorite juice? You want? Okay.
You
all
getting
right.
ready to go? You want me to
getting ready
iron
go?
your shirt?
Want me to iron your shirt? What do you need? Mad as I don't know what. Love you. Yeah. Talk to you later.
Nah, I'll talk to you later.
Goodbye. Send a text message. I'm still mad at you, but have a good day. You know, like all of those things, because there's a bigger picture and what you feel emotionally. And I have to say that our marriage is built in foundation that Christ is our head, right? So
Definitely.
we cannot take for granted. We're not just here giving cookie cutter like, oh yeah, if you're upset, send it. Yeah, no, we're not giving you that. But
Nope.
what maintained the head of our relationship and still is that Christ is the head. And so some of the things, and we realize that marriage is a covenant ordained by God, and through that his ministry, the ministry of Jesus Christ, is reflected to the world. And this is the closest thing that we can show of a reflection of Christ's relationship to the church. So we understand that. And so when we do that, I'll be honest, in some of our worst and challenging moments, people would look at us and be like, "You guys are such a great example."
And we would
be looking like, "Oh my
"I can't
God.
stand him.
Woo.
Why would they say that today?
Today."
Oh, no.
Like, I am mad as I don't know what, but she is still fine. Oh my gosh. Like, dang. And here are some of the things for those of you who like go to church Sunday morning. I don't know what it is about Sunday morning, but it can produce some of the most interesting arguments, right?
Can.
And you're just like, we got to be at church at 9:30. Intercessory prayer start. We have to get there. Come on.
You making us late.
You making us late. I got to get there. Or, oh my gosh, you tell me to hurry up, and I got to sit in the car.
in the car for 15 minutes because you're not ready.
Oh, so these are some of the, so then you get in the car and you're trying to turn on your praise music to set your environment right. You be mad talking about oh my God, I'm still so mad. And then when you go to a church like we go to, where the word is preached and you go in there expecting to hear the word, like God always comes through with the answer to whatever the challenge was. And it's something about the anointing that shows up in the service.
You literally can't
afterwards.
have an attitude
You
after.
cannot have an
It's
attitude after that.
impossible.
No, and then you walk in and you like, because if you go to a church where the leaders are meeting and you guys know each other and you can kind of tell the mannerisms of the other one. You can tell when that couple has gotten into an argument before they came in to serve, right? So you like, oh, so-and-so got into an argument. And so you say, "What's up, bro? You all right?" "Yeah, man, I'm good," And then afterwards we sit down, we break bread, we have fun. And I love how in our ministry, our pastor always sends out things. Just recently, probably a day ago, our pastor sent out 20 scriptures.
20 scriptures.
20 scriptures to help strengthen and build your marriage, and everything from knowing what biblical submission is and knowing that we are both submitted to Christ and then thereby submitted to the Christ within each other. Our pastor's always giving us those faith builders.
Yes.
And so if anything you get out of this, and we laugh and we joke, but when your marriage or your relationship is rooted in the principle of the word of God, even when the other person is wrong, you have to be able to see it from their eyes, and both of you all have to be willing to go back to the word. And if both of you have fallen short, then both of you all need to come up to what the word says. So brothers, I know, brothers, I have even gone to God about this. I said, "Lord, your words say, dwell with her according to knowledge, that your prayers be not hindered." I get it. Lord, I said, "Lord, now I don't see nothing in the scripture that say that her prayers are going to be hindered if she mad with me." Now, Lord, I did not start this argument. I didn't start this argument. She started it, Lord. You saw her. And then, brothers, being the head of the household simply means that you're willing to serve in a greater capacity. That the responsibility for being the priest means that you're praying and you're getting answers from God, and that you're submitted to the will of the Holy Spirit. Being the provider, which means literally I was willing to do whatever it took, and I still am, whatever it takes to provide for my wife. If I had to be up all night, if I have to get no sleep, but God has a better way. But I'm just saying these are some of the things that had to happen
For sure.
to make sure. Babe, do you remember when we were during tight times and I couldn't send you to get a pedicure?
Yes.
And so I had enough money. I had some money, and I took you to get a pedicure. And I'm sitting there talking to the guy the whole time. He's giving you a pedicure. Now, how you do that?
Yes.
Now,
every little
what you
step.
do? Now, what is that? What is that stuff that you're
What do
putting
you
on
put
there?
in that water?
What is
that right
that?
there?
Okay. How much are you willing to sell me some of that right there? It was the cuticle softener, you know. And he said, "Yeah, I'll sell you some." I said, "How much is it?" He said, "I'll sell you this big bottle for $5." I said, "Good deal." Then I went to Walgreens and bought one of those little foot pools, and I was giving you pedicures.
Yep.
Listen, I still cannot paint to save my life.
Nah,
Like I tried to paint the toenails.
bad.
Listen, I'm horrible at that.
And I didn't want to hurt his feelings, so he'd be like, "But how that look?" He be like, he'd come in with the cotton ball.
I come in with the cotton ball.
Like, that's okay, babe. You can wipe it off. You can wipe it off.
And I
It's okay.
didn't spend an hour and a
okay.
half
Concentrating and
concentrating and trying to paint these toenails.
The pedicure was on point.
I mean, listen, with these
pedicure
hands
was on
right
point.
here, you know, I was
Foot
making it happen.
massage,
Yeah.
pedicure was on point. But that polishing, just leave that to the professionals.
Absolutely. Listen, I still have not. The other day, I was like, man, I should go back just, for old time's sake, go back and I can YouTube how to paint her toenails.
No.
And then I was like, no, dog.
No.
It's the Randy Jackson. It's a no for me, dog.
Yes.
Like, nope.
Yes.
We are at a
No.
different time in life.
Yes, we are.
I don't have to do that anymore. But every so often, I bust it out.
The foot massage
The
is
foot
done.
massage, yeah. And
Yay.
now let's talk about this too on air. Now, brothers,
You
you know how when you go and you want to give your wife a massage, you do. Clearly, hold on, let me give the context again. Brothers that are giving your wife a massage, okay? Because you're not going to say that Ebron told, no. And, you're trying to set the mood. It's love day, right? So you got the candles lit. You got the soft music. You know, everything is set. And then, because we work hard all the time, so you got to, listen, you got to go and get you some special oils. That's another show. We'll talk about that. So I got all the oils on deck, not just the Johnson & Johnson baby oil. You got to upgrade your oils, okay? Text me if you want to know what I'm talking about.
Oh, my goodness.
So I go, we set the mood. Now I'm trying to give you a massage. Next thing I know, you are knocked out.
Well, you're supposed to be relaxed when you're getting a massage.
You're not supposed to be that relaxed.
It's
Good
late.
Lord.
It's a whole day of
Oh,
working,
it
and then
is,
you get
yeah.
the massage, and I'm sleep, and I just fall asleep by accident.
Fall
I
asleep
wake
by
up.
accident.
But I
Well,
wake
listen,
up.
we got, you know what? I need this bell at the house. Wake up. Time to get up.
I
No,
wake up.
I'm joking. But the good thing, I'll be honest with you, Shalice, what honors me the most is that you feel totally comfortable in my presence. Like, I think you know that if it was a 2-ton elephant or gorilla and he was trying to come and hurt you, you know without a shadow or a doubt that I'm jumping in there. You know?
Absolutely.
And when you are that comfortable, for me, that brings honor to me because it says, I respect and trust that you're going to protect and provide for me. And brothers, you know how it is. And sisters, I know you can attest when you feel comfortable or when you feel at ease, the real word that I'm going to use there is that when you feel vulnerable enough to be that comfortable with somebody, that is such an honor to them because a lot of us are walking around life with walls up and different things up because of past experiences. And we don't have enough time on the show tonight to talk about within the marriage how we have to wait for the walls to come down.
Oh yeah.
How love, you could be loving somebody with everything that you have, excuse me, but you have to wait until they feel vulnerable enough for the walls to come down. I'm not talking about that superficial, like, oh, yes, they told me their middle name, that wall came down, or they told me about when they were 5. No, I'm talking about those walls that are up, those secrets that have never been shared, those things that they've never told another person. Like, those are the things. And can they trust you to not use it as ammunition in an argument? We
went through that.
We went through that as well. And it just seemed to flow off the tongue when somebody, oh yeah, maybe it's because,
Mm-hmm.
and it comes out, and you like, oh my goodness,
I can't believe you
I
did
can't believe
that.
what,
But
you know.
that's one of those growth things and those maturity things that you have to just grow past and grow into. And even when your spouse does that, you're like, they're just being dumb. Like, it's really okay. Like,
Yeah.
we really gonna move on and everything's really gonna be okay. And they don't love me any less, and they don't really think something. They were just trying to get at me right then, and it's really okay. And that's another huge thing, like, to forgive. Like, forgive hard and to forgive fast. Forgiving fast is very important in a marriage because if you hold on to things, you're going to be miserable because it's too much stuff happens in a day that will be that happens back to back that your spouse may not even know that they're doing. And if you hold on to every single thing, you are going to be miserable. First of all, you're going to lose track of the things that you're holding against them. So forgive quick and move on, like, literally. Let it be known. That's the other part. Forgive quick, let it be known, and move on. Or seek to understand, like, I know that they didn't mean it like that. Like, literally, they have proven to me that they love me. I'm secure in that. We've been together all this time. Why am I tripping over this? Like, certain things is not even to tell them, like, that really made me mad when you did so and so. It's like, why am I being super sensitive about this? Like, really, like, it wasn't that serious. Actually, it was kind of funny when I think about it. So, forgiving fast is definitely something that you have to grow into. And I found that you're a lot happier when you forgive fast and don't hold grudges and things like that. Because I am good for that. I won't say something is wrong. I won't do any of that. I'll just be walking around mad at them until it builds and builds and builds. And that is a silly way to do things. So I had to learn the hard way to forgive fast because you are the one walking around with the attitude and he is literally living his best life. And you over there upset on the inside. Let it go.
Right. So you either better Dwayne Woods, let it go, let God. The next message I'm going to preach for the marriage ministry is going to be called, Are You Mad or No? All right? That's my next message. I'm preaching that. It's coming out of, I don't know what chapter it's coming out of.
No
It's going to be about forgiveness, though. Are you mad or no? But looking at it now, and Shalise, with about 10 minutes left in our show, and we're thinking about some of the young couples that are coming up, and I'm so excited for them. And I feel like I think that I'm a young OG in the game, not a real OG. As Trustee Shell would say, I think, he said I was at breakfast. So I might be at brunch. I might be at brunch right about now. So Trustee Shell, awesome positive example of a man that loves his family, loves his wife, and did everything within his power to ensure that not only that they were taken care of, but that they received the best. So he would always mentor me. And I remember he used to say, young man, I love your passion. And a simple way of saying, hey, okay, that's great. You fired up about this. And this was like year one. And we were all out there in the parking lot getting ready to go to our cars. And he said, here's the real question. Do you want to be right or do you want to be married? And this is to somebody right now. You're probably sitting on the couch or on your way home, or you might be at work or working out. And the real question is, like, think about it. Is it really that serious? Like, what you're upset about, is it really that serious to break the unity in your house? Like, because, Shalisa, when you and I pray about something or when we're unified, there's nothing that we have not been able to accomplish or do.
That's so true.
Bible says when the people, and it's talking about more than one person, but it is simply about when you and someone else come in unity about something. It says when the people got in one mind and one accord, nothing that they said to do shall be refrained from them. So this is to you all. When you and your wife or your spouse come together on one accord, there is nothing that cannot happen. In fact, the power of agreement says, if any two touching as agreeing, that's when you're supposed to shake my hand, Shalise. You got me on camera with my hand out
I
here.
wasn't paying attention.
She didn't want to give me no play. All right? When any two touching as agreeing on anything of this earth, it shall be done of the Father which is in heaven. Other scripture says, how can two walk together lest they be agreed? All of these different things about how agreement and how powerful agreement is in the earth. So men, women, like, seek to find that agreement. Seek, like, let's look at what page that we're on, and let's make sure that we do that. Oh Lord. Oh, my cousin Jeremy.
No.
He talking about, it was one of his gifts from me.
Please stop.
My cousin gave me some special oil.
No.
Not anointing oil, all right? But gave me some special oil only made for husbands and wives. All right? But as I was saying, he done chimed in, Lord. All right? So these are the things. And please believe we're not listening to Mahalia Jackson, or listening to Ty Tribbett or anything else when it's time for romantic love. No. You got to listen to music with a message, a music that brings about that love that you want to express, all right? And if we're not listening to no twerk songs either, all right? So you got to make sure that you do things with a message. Now, you talking about, that's a whole nother message. But as we close out, you have to have fun in your marriage. What do you say, Shalise? What is your most important point to leave with them?
I really like my forgive fast. That is like a huge thing, because it just is. Like, that's how you're able to have fun and not walk around with an attitude all the time about little things that are done. But if you forgive quick and always assume the best. Forgive quick, assume the best in your spouse. I think that those are two important keys.
All right. And as I'm preparing to close out, brothers, here's my message to you. You have to always remember and respect that your wife has a voice. And a lot of times the answers that you're looking for, they're hidden in her voice. Think about it right now, bros. Don't say it out loud, especially if she's sitting next to you. Think about when she gave you that little nugget of advice and you was like, no, I'm still going to do it this way. And you messed it up. And while you were messing it up, you just heard her voice, that little voice saying, you should have done it this way. Some of the bros don't have to wait to hear the little voice. My wife doesn't do that, where she comes and, says, I told you so. Some of you all have sisters that are like, I told you that you should have, But here's what I want to share is that a lot of times the answers that you're looking for, God will speak through your wife, and it will bless the whole household. There's a man named Nabal in the Bible, and his wife actually tried to cover the house when he messed up. David and his men, pastor just preached this, about a week ago? Yeah. And David and his men were hungry. They needed to eat. Nabal, he was balling out of control. He had cattle and had all of this. And David's men was like, yo, can we get something to eat? Nabal was like, no, man, get out of here. This is my land. Peace out. And so they like, oh, you must not know about David. He getting ready to ride out on everybody. So David was like, what? They didn't want to give you anything to drink or eat. Psh, we getting ready to go blow the spot up. Okay. And I am clearly paraphrasing. So they get ready to ride out. But before that, his wife, met David and the men, and she had food, she had drink, and she was telling David, like, yo, you don't want this on your account, coming down, blowing up our spot. And so then when she went back and told her husband what she had done for David and his men to cover the house, to keep them from being injured, the Bible says that Nabal had a heart attack and died. And so some of the brush, you're not be physically dying, but you're venturing to do, or what you're imagining to do, or your goals you have set, the wisdom could be encased in the voice of your wife. And make sure that you submit to that, because it's really God speaking through her, bros. And somebody asked me the other day, Shalise, they said, this whole weaker vessel piece, it says treat her as the weaker vessel, my brothers. And if she is born of, if she comes from you, you believe she is your rib. If you are not weak, then it's no way that she can be weak.
Nope.
So treat her with that respect. She stands beside you, not behind you. You submit to the God in her, vice versa. She's submitting to the God within you. Both of you are submitted to Christ. This is the best relational advice that I could give. Make sure you get into a word church. Make sure you get into a place where both of you are hearing the same thing.
That's right.
And I know there are some places where the wife may be going to this church and the husband go to the other church. And I would always encourage you all that you need to be worshiping together. Don't wait till Sunday morning to lift up holy hands and praise God together. You know, in fact, when you all come together as one, it is worship as unto God. And with 1 minute left, Kate, I want you to go ahead and this is a question for you. What are you looking forward to most coming towards marriage?
Honestly, that's hard to narrow down, but I am generally looking forward to enjoying myself. I have a partner who, no matter how our day goes, we end it laughing together, and I plan on
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Laugh often.
good.
All right.
That's good,
The Bible
Kate.
says what? Laughter doeth good as a medicine. So remember, the drawing board, we always say that your future is not behind you. It is not before you. It is within you. God bless you.
Mic's off. Give me 1 second for the camera.